The new channel. The new channel. Hashtag TNC Now.
The views, opinions, and insights expressed in the following shows are those of the host, producers, guests, and viewers. They do not necessarily reflect the position of the channel. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello and welcome to the new channel. Our passion transforms a community that sees and shares all things new. I am David Rioferio, and you're watching the world premiere of Insights and Perspectives on TNC. Now we'll talk about justice on two wheels. Bakit nga naman two wheels? Ito pong nakaraan na linggo, actually hanggang ngayon, punong-puno po ang ating mga telebisyon, radyo, dyaryo, pati online ng balita tungkol dito sa road rage incident kung saan dalawang individual po ang naging kasama doon sa event na yun. Number 1, isang siklista. Number 2, isa pong nagda-drive ng sedan. Ngayon po, mapalad po tayo, nakasama natin ng isa sa mga respetadong lawyers dito sa Philippines. Ladies and gentlemen, our guest for today is the managing partner of Fortun and Santos Law Offices, Attorney Raymund Fortun. Attorney, welcome to the program.
Hi, David. It's a pleasure to be here.
Attorney, tanong ko lang po, ano na po bang update dito po sa inyong cases na na-file against our ito pong road rage na nag-handle po?
Okay, I want to make it clear na wala pa talagang ma-file na quote-unquote cases simply because wala tayong complainant dito. I think everybody knows na yung siklista na involved dito ay wala nang intensyon magsampa ng kaso. So, I felt that this was something that cannot be just put to an end simply because of what we had all seen. Undoubtedly, so many people were affected by this. So many people were outraged by this. And as a citizen of the Republic, and with a desire really so that incidents of this nature would not occur in the future, and I took several administrative steps. Nakiusap ako sa LTO to have his license revoked or suspended. And in fact, I understand that as of today, the license of this motorist, Mr. Gonzalez, has been suspended for 2 years. He cannot drive his vehicle for 2 years. Then I asked for a revocation of his gun licenses. And my understanding as well is that all of his licenses have been revoked and that his permit to carries have also been revoked. And his guns have actually already been confiscated by the Firearms and Explosives Office. What else? I asked that if it's possible, considering what he had done, if he's connected with any government agency, that sanctions be imposed. And Wednesday last week, the Supreme Court, acting on its own, went ahead and terminated his services. After that, I requested that investigations be conducted by both houses, the Senate and the House of Representatives. And last Tuesday, September 5, there was just one hearing that was held by the Committee on Public Order and Dangerous Drugs, chaired by Senator Bato de la Rosa. That has been terminated, and I presume that there's going to be a committee report that will be produced. The purpose nitong mga hearings sa Senado and at the House of Representatives is for hopefully the enactment of either new laws or the amendment to existing laws with regard to gun control, if there's a need for a new law on road rage specifically, what would it cover? Would it cover both motorists as well as pedestrians? No, and probably even some revisions in the requirements for issuances of gun licenses. No, so on top of all that, I have filed administrative complaints against all the investigators at there were first responders, the investigators at the Kamuning Police Station and at the Galas Police Station, who I felt had violated the police protocols, no, in accordance with the NAPOLCOM memoranda on how police should have acted in an instance like this, and which I felt, no, led to Mr. Bandiola's subsequent voluntary, quote unquote, decision, to just uh, to desist from filing any complaints, notwithstanding what we had seen, and
Yeah.
where he actually had to pay 500 pesos for his own liberty. No? Then just today, I had filed a letter to the Supreme Court asking for possible revision of the rules on electronic evidence, so that any videos, no, that are captured either by phone cams or by dash cams or even by CCTV footages would no longer require the testimony of the person who recorded it. Meaning, hopefully, our laws would now allow anonymous, sorry, video recordings from anonymous sources to already be considered and given weight by the courts for purposes of prosecution and subsequent conviction of the perpetrator that can be seen, who can be seen from the video. Lastly, I sent another letter to the PNP chief, no, kay General Acorda, and I asked that probably similar to what had been done in Singapore, that the PNP would set up now a website where private individuals who have information about a crime or who have witnessed a crime in progress can now upload photographs, videos, or even provide information, not to the police themselves, and that their identities will be kept anonymous. Why would this be important? Because there's so many unsolved and unreported crimes.
Yeah.
Simply because people are afraid to report them because they are afraid of the retribution, no? An attack against them as well. And I think people who do this out of a sense of country should be protected by our laws and also by our law enforcement agencies, so that they do not have to fear about making reports like this. All of these are happening all at the same time, and of course there is a expected time period by which everything is now crystallized. No? But we should be heartened by the fact that the wheels of justice are turning. It's for some it's slow. For me, it's normal pace, and that we can hope that there would be progress so that our country, our streets would be more safer when all of this is done.
Opo, dun po sa mga nagsasabi na the wheels of justice are turning slow. Ako nga, buti eh. Alam mo yun, nakikita mo na yung wheel ngayon. Kasi sabi nga, no, palasak na itong mga pangyayari na ito. Unfortunately, no, people will think na, normal na lang na merong na hold up dyan sa kanto, may nag-snatch, or normal na lang na ito nga, merong ganitong road rage. Kasi even Attorney Fortun, after nitong event na ito, meron pang isa o dalawang events na road rage din ang nangyari. Ano pong pakiramdam niyo dito na parang, ano ba to, positive ba to na nare-report siya agad? Meron agad nagpipick up, or kayo po, maganda bang development ito?
Well, I honestly do not want to think that these things happen every day. No?
Yeah.
Think about it. Kaya lang lumalabas because people, at least two of the videos, they were sent to me. A third one, yung third one, yung sa Makati, so citizens posted it and then started disseminating it. No? So, but it really requires people to be quick with their cameras and also a sense of, well, probably a sense of urgency, no? Yung medyo, it's an act of caring. Yan na lang, no? Because you care. Kasi otherwise, normally you see a crime happen, people just say, I don't want to get involved, and so I'm getting out of this. No? Kasi para tahimik na yung buhay ko. But there are people who want justice to be done, who want our streets to become safer. And these are the people who we should protect. No, kinakailangan they should somehow be insulated from any attacks, no, yung counter attack by the person who they want to expose. No? So, well, to your question, ano bang impression ko? Well, as I said, sana hindi nangyayari parati. Number two, well, sana mas marami yung mas alerto at willing, no, to share itong mga information na ito. Number three, sana yung mga taong ito will be protected as well. And lastly, sana our law enforcement agencies will be quick, no, in order to apprehend, prosecute, and work hard for the conviction of people like this. Again, you just take one of them out of the streets, you're already a little bit safer. No? Kasi ang may isip mo na lang, well, at least that person won't be around, no, for the, or like in the case of Mr. Gonzalez, well, he won't be using his car for the next 2 years, no, kasi at least mag-isip muna siya bago niya ilabas yung kotse kasi wala siyang lisensya. Anything can happen, and you know, if he drives without a license, dire-diretso yan, sigurado kulong yan. So he will think twice, thrice before he actually drives his vehicle. And we're, you know, people who've seen what he's done will have this feeling that, well, at least, no, I won't be dealing with Mr. Gonzalez for the next 2 years. That will make our streets a little bit safer, make people feel a little bit more comfortable when they drive around in their cars, or they use their bikes, or they ride their motorcycles, or even while walking. No? Tatawid na lamang ng pedestrian crossing, alam nila na hindi sila bubusinahan at tututukan ng baril ni Mr. Gonzalez.
Oo nga, no. About the law, one last question on this part, ano. Ano ho ba, kapag ang public highway or public road, sino bang pwedeng gumamit talaga nito? Sino bang may karapatan? Is it a privilege? Ano po bang pinagkaiba nun?
Oh, our motor vehicles law, no, has a list of the vehicles that should be in it. But the truth to tell, not, and I will be the first to admit this, there's nothing in our motor vehicles law which speaks of bicycles. Simply because a bicycle is not a motor vehicle.
Okay.
Wala naman sa motor eh. Okay, so talagang yung batas natin dito does not provide for bicycles. But it also doesn't provide anything, doesn't say anything about kalesas. Again, simply because it's not a motor vehicle, and yet allowed ang mga kalesa in our streets. But right now, as it stands, there is no law which governs the use of bicycles and allowing bicycles into our streets. But that does not mean that an individual who wants to ride a bicycle cannot ride in it. In fact, there's already an implied acceptance of the right of individuals to use their bicycles on streets because meron mga bike lanes eh. So how can you put up bike lanes and then say, ay, hindi kayo pwedeng gumamit ng bisikleta sa kalye na. So medyo parang illogical yun. No. Anybody can use our streets so long as you are using it in a safe manner. So can you use your wheelchair, no, in our streets? Yeah, maybe. How about yung mga e-scooters? Yes, sure, no? But you have to follow also traffic rules, you have to follow speed limits, no? Kaya sa totoo lang, like for example, pwede bang gamitin ng wheelchair sa SLEX? Hindi.
Opo.
Meron siyang minimum speed limit, meron siyang maximum speed limit. Obviously, hindi pwede. Na yung mga ganun lang, bicycles obviously cannot use the skyway. Bicycles can't enter the NLEX. Motor vehicle, yung mga motorcycles that are less than 400 cc and cannot maintain a speed of 60 kilometers cannot use the tollways. No? So ganun lang naman.
Attorney, you're so passionate about this. Saan po ba nanggagaling yung drive ninyo, your encouragement? Para kasi you're taking time, no, out of your office and then dito mo ibinubuhos.
I'm a cyclist. I've been using a bicycle and riding my bicycle long distances, you know, since October 2016. I've ridden as long as 600 kilometers in one bike event. Twice. Pati sa Cebu, nag 600 kilometers na ako dyan. I've done Manila to Baguio twice. Okay, so yung what we call the Laguna Loop, meaning an entire circumferential ride of the Laguna Bay, then Taal
Aha.
Loop, no, yung Taal Lake, no, inikot ko na yan, no. I mean, I've done such a lot of cycling, and that's the reason why when this happened to a fellow cyclist, and it's not just a fellow cyclist, it's a poor
Mhm.
one.
Yeah.
Kung nakita ko yung insidente involved somebody in a 1 million peso bike, baka hindi ko pinansin yan.
Okay.
Kasi yung tao na may 1 million peso bike, may kakayahan niya na kumuha ng sarili niyang abogado. But
Mhm.
this one, no, makikita mo pobre, voiceless, defenseless. Naawa ako. Sa akin parang yung kung sino pa yung inagrabyado, biglang babatukan, tututukan ng barel, kakasahan ng barel. I mean, if that happened to me, wow. Or to my son who is also into cycling, or to a female cyclist, or to one of my friends. I mean, it could happen to anybody, no?
Mhm,
And for
mhm.
me, that was why I felt so revolted. Because alam mo dito sa Pilipinas, ang
Mhm.
dami nang nagsasabi na yung hustisya daw ay para lamang sa mga mayayaman. And
Mhm.
for me, I don't know, basta it's just a quick uh, spur of the moment, a siklab ng damdamin, no, for a fellow cyclist who I saw
Mhm.
was underprivileged and who really had no means to defend himself. No, I think I felt that it was the time really to stand up and to protect my fellow cyclists.
Alam mo, Attorney Fortun, baka pwede to, no? Sa mga lawyers natin na nandiyan, na tulad mong willing to help others na nangangailangan, o anong passion ninyo, ilista ninyo. Kapag meron kaming nakuhang video or kung ano mang concern related to your passion, come on, dive in and work on it. Kung ako po isang siklista o nagda-drive ng kotse o naglalakad tapos na-involve ako sa road rage, meron po ba kayong tips sa amin? Hindi ba ako bababa agad ng sasakyan ko? Aalis ba ako agad? O sinong tatawagan ko po?
I think when we have when we're in a vehicular accident, hindi maalis yung inis, di ba? Yung kasi lalo pa kung if you're driving tapos may biglang bumangga sa iyo, and you were driving your vehicle properly, wala kang inaagrabyado, hindi ka reckless and everything. And in spite of that, may bumangga sa iyo, nakakainis talaga, no? But in such a situation, I think you really need to learn the art of self-control. No? I mean, in the first place, sasakyan lang yan eh, di ba? Kumbaga sa
Mhm.
pera lang yan eh. Uh, so long as hindi ka naman na damage na yung person mo, hindi ka naman talaga na injure, yung sasakyan madaling ipaayos yan. So, it's no big deal. Magasgasan yung kotse mo, okay, nakakainis, pumangit yung kotse mo, pero it's something that can be repaired. So why make a big
Mhm.
deal out of it? No, just go down out of your car, talk to the driver, say, "Oh, paano na to? What are we going to do? Are you going to admit your liability na ikaw may kasalanan?" If you say yes, okay, can you just get my number? Is your other car also insured? So pwede bang insurance to insurance na lang ang usapan dito? Pag
Mhm.
ang bumangga naman sa'yo ay jeep o kundi tricycle, it happened to me so many times, no? Kamutan mo na lang
Mhm.
yung ulo, no? And, you just shake your head, no? Kasi, kakamutan ka din naman yan ng ulo, eh, no? Gaganon-ganon sa'yo. Sorry, sir. Sorry.
Mhm.
Eh, what do you do? Pagbabayarin mo, wala namang pambayad yan, eh. And even
Totoo.
if you do, even if you try to extract money from him, hindi ka na naawa dun sa pobre. No, na
Mhm.
yung taong ito probably is just earning just enough, no, to be able to put food on the table, tapos aagawin mo pa. I mean,
Mhm.
no, at least for us, no, I mean, a little compassion, a little compassion.
Mhm.
Let's reverse it. If I were like, let's say, a cyclist, no, unang-una ako as a cyclist, I'm always extremely, extremely defensive cycling, which means
Mhm.
that uh, stay on my lane. I always check my left shoulder if I'm going
Mhm.
changing lanes. My hands are always on the brakes. No? So, and then I have this mindset, no, yung always assume that the other person is gonna do something stupid. Okay.
Okay.
So what you with that kind of a mindset, you're always ready that something's gonna go wrong, and that you'll be ready to put the brakes. Ikaw na yung mag-brake, no? Wala
Mhm.
namang mawawala sa iyo eh. You might lose what 5 seconds of your time. I mean, it's not such a hassle, di ba? To
Mhm.
kung ganon, even if you're in a hurry, but at least you're safe. Pag tinuloy mo yan at nabangga ka, mas lalo kang madidelay, no? So, yung init ng ulo to try to
Mhm.
head, no, is actually going to cost you much more than just loss of time. But the hassle of having to report this to the police and everything, yung mga ganyan. If I were the one walking and ako yung binangga, well, wala kang magagawa, no? So, you just
Mhm.
just make sure, no, that your body is intact. If it's not, then bring yourself to the hospital. Hopefully the other person is going to pay for your damages and injuries.
Mhm.
If I am a victim of road rage, just do what Mr. Bandiola did, which is just,
Mhm.
ano ka na lang, just play takot na lang. Okay?
Uh-huh.
Don't even try to be smart, and try to
Mhm. Mhm.
your civil rights, or try to effect a citizen's arrest. Okay? I mean,
Yes.
just what you do is you just take down the plate number of the person and then report it at the nearest police station. Ganun lang. If on my part naman, would I be the one who would be doing road rage? No, it's not gonna happen. Simply because I
Mhm.
don't own a gun. I have no plans of bringing a gun with me. And certainly, I will never, never take out a gun and try to cock it, as a means of threatening somebody else. So, yun, hindi mangyayari sa akin yun. And that's what I probably will suggest to people, no? If you are a responsible gun owner, merong rules tungkol dyan. You
Mhm.
have to keep that gun in a clutch bag and never, never, never pull it out unless you are really absolutely threatened. In this particular case, that is what I felt so revolting. Yung
Mhm.
siklista, walang depensa eh. No, I mean,
Mhm.
sinabi ni Mr. Gonzales, naka-knockout daw na gloves. Pero kahit anong angulo mong tingnan, wala namang knockout
Walang suot.
gloves. Sabing ganyan. Alam mo, yung mga siklista, merong parating mga screwdriver
And
yan at
driver and
sa
cutter.
belt bag. But nasaan yun? Was it ever proven that Mr. Bandiola ever had yung mga screwdrivers at yung cutter na sinasabi niya enough for him to pull out his gun? No,
Mhm.
there wasn't, no. Even like, let's say, inamin ni Mr. Bandiola na, binatukan ako, di parang, umasta ako. Sabi nga niya, that's normal, no? Kung ano, ayan, no, tingnan na lang natin yung scenario. What if kunyari nagsuntukan na lang sila, di ba? O sige, suntukan na lang
Mhm.
tayo. Binatukan, di pumalag yung isa, nagsuntukan. Would it go viral? Fat chance, di ba? Probably 1% chance, no? Pero, and it would have been a laughing, a
Mhm.
comedy. It would have been a comedy. Kasi, eh, dalawang adults nagsusuntukan in the middle of the street. No? So, it wouldn't have amounted to this. But in a way, the nice thing about this happening is that now people have become more aware and are now more concerned about road rage. And that we have now seen that there are actually some loopholes, some deficiencies in our laws, in our formal requirements with regard to privileges given to gun owners, probably even a need to amend or even to come out with new laws or rules of procedure with regard to videos being submitted by anonymous persons. I mean, out of this, there will always be something as a silver lining, and which
Mhm.
help our citizenry in the future.
Ang tanong po ng marami, are you first a biker, then lawyer, or lawyer, then biker?
I'm a husband to a loving
Okay.
wife and a loving father to three angels. That is the role that was given to me. And I'm very devoted to that. I live up to it. Lahat ng mga iba, well, work is work, no? But work also is there in order to help make this world a better place. So we have in the group that I'm with now, we have this term, we sanctify the work. That means that you offer the work to God. The work itself now becomes God's work. It now
Mhm.
becomes God's work. And anybody that is touched by that work is also sanctified, because these people will be benefited by the godly work that you do. And lastly, you make yourself holy as well, no? Because if you're doing God's work, then certainly, no, na naaambunan ka, no, na you get the graces from doing some godly work.
Galing. Meron po tayong questions dito from three of our general public na invite po namin to ask questions. Sabi po ni Aya ng Paranaque, do you offer other free law services or meron po ba kayong mga advocacy groups na ganyan?
No.
Okay.
Guys, you have to remember, okay, I'm a professional. And in fact, the Supreme Court, the Supreme Court encourages lawyers. In fact, I understand nga that you offer your services really for free. Pero the Supreme Court also recognizes that as a professional, you're entitled to charge fees for work, for services done.
Mhm.
Diba? I mean, kung kunyari, magpagawa ka ng bahay, pwede mo bang itiwa yan? Hindi. No? Because as a professional, you're entitled to it.
Mhm.
If you do a professional service, you are entitled to be paid for it. Okay? So, sa akin, yung attitude na pwede ba yung libre yung serbisyo,
Mhm.
we have an agency. It's called the Public Attorney's Office. No? And the Public Attorney's Office offers its services for free for people below a certain social, yung walang income or yung income nila is not enough. Then there are institutions around which offers free legal services. I'll give you one example: the UP Law Office of Legal Aid. UP
Mhm.
Law Office of Legal Aid, dyan po sa Malcolm Hall sa Diliman. They have a program wherein yung mga fourth-year law students are supervised by a lawyer. And that itong mga fourth-year law students who are, by the way, allowed, no, to appear in court. They are allowed
Mhm.
to appear in court. Hindi pa sila abogado, and they are allowed to appear in court and do defense or to prosecute. No? Libre ang serbisyo nila. So, yung for us professionals, please allow us, no, to put food on our family's
Mhm.
tables, and to pay us properly, because it is definitely unfair kung kayo mismo gumawa kayo ng serbisyo, whether it is as a government employee or working in Jollibee or McDonald's, di ba? Pag nagtrabaho kayo, you demand and you deserve to be paid. And that also goes through, no, for lawyers.
Another question po from Erica of Los Baños. Can we invite you for talks sa schools or sa other organizations?
Yes, I've been accepting talks, speeches, with different schools from up north to Mindanao. All you have to do is send your request, to our law office. You can find it, you just Google our law office's name, or probably on Facebook, diba? Just send me a message on Facebook if I feel that the topic is something that I have an expertise on, or like if my time is available, then why not? Certainly, no. Hindi ko naman pinagdadamot yung oras ko. It's
Mhm.
really just a matter of time. I'm actually even an accredited lecturer of the Supreme Court for the mandatory continuing legal education programs for
Mm.
lawyers. So I'm pretty much familiar with giving talks on
Mhm.
legal topics, uh, so long as it is relevant for that entity or school.
Okay po. Ito po, last question from Mercy of Paranaque. Ito naman po tungkol sa bikes. Saan daw po ba makakakuha ng mga legit pero mura na bike parts?
Marami ng mga bike shops ngayon na around, no? All you have to
Mhm.
do is just open your eyes. At dito sa Las Piñas area, pag, dyan lang along Alabang sa Pote Road, there are quite
Mm.
a number of bike shops there. Sa Daanghari, there are bike shops, all the way up to Vermosa. So there are really a lot of them. The smaller the bike shop, the cheaper they are. Ngayon, pero pag
Talaga po?
pumunta ka sa mall, sigurado
Yeah.
mas mahal yan. Because
Mm-mm.
not only are the parts more yung branded, mga branded
Mhm.
bike parts, but they also are paying for the
Rent.
rent, the
Mm-mm.
space. So again, I mean, it's justified if they have more expensive parts, but mas makakasiguro ka, no? And well, in a way, no, merong slight warranties that are available. There is this a well-known na, na bike shop that is online, ano, yung bike.
Mm.
Yan,
Mhm.
that's a good, it's a good bike store. There is yung J Pogi, si J Pogi. Hanapin niyo lang yun sa Facebook. Si J Pogi o si Bike. Nandoon yan. And you can buy reasonably good bicycles and bike parts, no, from them.
Mhm. Ito po siguro last question na 'no, kamusta po kayo? Why are you so happy to help, attorney? And your final words, please.
You know, we should all be happy to help. In, out, in the Bible, it says, no, you love Lord your God, no, with your whole heart, with your whole mind, with your whole soul. And then, it says, love your neighbor. And that is something, na yung love of neighbor is a reflection of your love for the Lord. Eh. So,
Mhm.
if you see somebody who needs your help, who is especially those who are poor, defenseless, and voiceless, we should really reach out and help them. Because that is the true essence of love, no? Yung love ng Panginoon, binabahagi yan sa kapwa. So why am I helpful? Because what people don't know is I'm a regular mass goer. I
Mhm.
hear mass if I can, every day.
And you're part
Every
of the choir.
I sing at the 6 o'clock mass.
Ayun, mhm.
It's a huge sacrifice with a lot of mortifications built in it. And
Mhm.
subukan yung kumanta ng alas 6 ng umaga. Ayan, yun na lang, no? Tapos inaantok-antok ka pa. It's a huge sacrifice, but that's the essence of it. No? When you love yung Diyos, then that's an offering in itself, no? Na okay lang yun. I have to wake up at 5 o'clock. Minsan, sinisipa ako ng guardian angel ko. Oy, bumangon ka na dyan kasi kailangan kakanta ka pa doon sa simbahan. No, because yung mga manang din naman doon sa simbahan, sasabihin nyo, alam mo, parang ang lungkot-lungkot sa loob ng misa pag hindi ka kumakanta. No? So, I'm not doing it for them.
Yeah,
I'm doing
yeah.
it for the Lord, no? I mean, and masarap yung umaga pa lamang, first hour of the day, and you're already filled with the Lord's Spirit, and everything else follows. No, somehow it sets the right mood and the right tempo, no, for the start the day because you're so energized because you've taken the Holy Eucharist and you feel so charged with the Lord's presence in you. No? So yeah, all of these things you put it all together, and what happened when I saw that video, it just spewed forth and ni ho, probably talagang sinabi ng
Mhm.
Holy Spirit sa akin, tulungan mo yan kasi kawawa eh. Okay? And people will think na, yan. Meron nung narinig na term, yung cloud chaser. Diyos ko, hindi ko na ho kailangan magpasikat. Yung mga nagsasalita ng ganyan, baka yan yung mga gustong magpasikat para mapansin sila kasi, yung mga nega na mga tao, well, siyempre, merong mga natutuwa, pero meron ring maiinis sa inyo. Because
Mhm.
definitely ako, and with God as my witness, I'm doing this purely out of a civic service, no, for somebody who needs my help but could not afford it. Okay? Ngayon, if you want to put color in what I did, meron pa nagsabi na tatakbo daw ako maging sa party list daw, no? Wala po akong interest na pumasok sa politika. If I wanted to enter politics, I could have done it a long, long time ago, even as early as when I was the spokesperson for President Joseph Estrada during
Mhm.
the impeachment. No? Yan, I mean, I'm not an unknown commodity. Hindi ako
Yeah.
kailangan magpasikat. In fact, I could just have just ignored this and just said that this is none of my business. But
Mhm.
I felt, no, as a citizen, not as a lawyer, not as somebody who is trying to get himself into Congress. No? Uh, Hindi. And the truth is that if somebody else did it, I don't know if it's going to get as much attention. So in a way, yung people knowing who I am and who know the kind of person that I am, That's the reason why this thing has become pretty big. And I will push through with this all the way until the end. Hindi ko kailangan magpasikat at wala akong intensyon magpasikat. I want to give justice to Mr. Bandiola even if he refuses it.
Attorney Raymund Fortun, thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome as well, David, and well, good luck on your show.
I am David Riaferio, and you've just seen Insights and Perspective. God bless you.